Hi guys, welcome to Namerta's online math classes. So today we are going to learn about a very interesting topic in mathematics, rational numbers. Before we start learning about rational numbers, let us just recall the different types of numbers that we have learned in our previous grades. So let us just discuss about all of them one by one. So, the very first types of numbers that we study in mathematics are, we call them as counting numbers or natural numbers. So, what are counting or natural numbers? The numbers that we use for counting objects around us, we call them as counting numbers. And how do we denote them? We denote them with the help of capital English alphabet N. So n is a set of natural numbers which start from 1 and keep on increasing till infinity. Then the second type of numbers that we study in mathematics, we call them as whole numbers. So what are whole numbers? Whole numbers are natural numbers together with the number 0. And how do we denote whole numbers? We denote them with the help of capital English alphabet W. W is a set of numbers which start from 0 and keep on increasing like 1, 2, 3, 4 and on till infinity. Then the third type of numbers we study in mathematics are called as integers. So what are integers? They are the whole numbers along with the negatives of natural numbers. And how do we denote integers? Now you must be thinking that it would be I. No, it is not I. It is Z. And why Z? Because Z is taken from a German word which is called as Zahlen. In German, Zahlen means numbers. So, Z is a set of numbers which include all the negative numbers, 0 as well as all the positive numbers. All those set of numbers is called as integers. Then the next type of numbers that we study in mathematics are called as fraction. Now what is a fraction? A fraction is a part of a whole. What does it mean, a part of a whole? Let me just take a real life example. If we talk about a pizza, the full pizza is known as the whole. When I divide my pizza into 6 slices and if I take out one slice of pizza, so it can be called as I have taken one fraction of pizza. So fraction basically means a part of one whole thing or one full thing. And how do we write a fraction? We write a fraction in the form of P upon Q. Now what is P over here and what is Q over here? So where P and Q, they are called as whole numbers. So in a fraction, any number which can be written in the form of P upon Q, where P and Q are whole numbers. And there is one more condition. The condition says Q should not be equal to 0. Any such numbers are called as fractions, which can be written in the form of P upon Q. If I want to give you some example, like for example, 1 upon 2, 3 upon 4, 5 upon 7, 9 upon 2. So all such numbers, they are called as fractions. Now let us just come to our new types of numbers, which is known as rational numbers. So what are rational numbers? Let us just first study about the definition of rational numbers. One thing is clear, they are also a type of numbers. So what are rational numbers? A number that can be expressed in the form P upon Q, where P and Q are integers. And there is one more condition where P and Q are integers and Q should not be equal to 0. Any such numbers are called rational numbers. Equal to 0 are called as rational numbers. Let me just give you an example over here. For example, if I write a number 3 over here, so can I express 3 in the form of P upon Q? Yes, I can do that. I can express the number 3 as 3 upon 1, where 3 is also an integer, 1 is also an integer. So that means, and 1 is not equal to 0. So that means 3 is a rational number. Now let me just take one more example. Minus 5. Now what do you think? Is minus 5 a rational number? My answer is yes. I can write minus 5 in the form of minus 5 upon 1, or I can write it as minus 10 upon 2. Now if I look at minus 10 is an integer. 2, it is also an integer. So that means minus 5 is a rational number. Similarly, 3 is a rational number. If I give you one more example, for example, if I take the number 0.2. So what do you think? Is it a rational number or not? Think. Yes. My answer is also the same. 0.2 can be written as 2 upon 10. So where 2 is my numerator, 10 is my denominator, and my denominator is not equal to 0. So that is why 0.2 is also a rational number. In other words, we can say that a number is rational if it can be represented as a quotient of two integers, or in other words, I can say if it has two parts. One is the numerator and another is the denominator, and we have to keep in mind the denominator should not be equal to 0. Now let us just discuss about a few properties of rational numbers. So let me just write down a very special property of rational numbers. All fractions are rational numbers, but all rational numbers are not fractions. If I ask you to justify this statement, so how would you justify this statement? I can justify this statement by taking a few examples. For example, if I take a fraction, as 4 upon 9. So I would definitely say that it is a fraction, because here 4 is a whole number, 9 is also a whole number. So that means this number is in the form of P upon Q, where both P and Q are whole numbers and Q is not equal to 0. So I would definitely say that this is a fraction. Let me just write it over here. So I would say that this is a fraction. So if I ask you a question, is it a rational number also? Let us just recall the definition of a rational number. So which says, if I express a number in the form of P upon Q, and where P and Q should be integers. Is 4 an integer? Yes. Is 9 an integer? Yes, it is an integer. And is Q not equal to 0? Yes, that is also true. That means the number 4 upon 9 is a fraction as well as a rational number. So, can I say in other words that all the fractions are rational numbers. Now, it is a rational number also. Now, if I take one more example, suppose if I talk about the number -5. So, what would you say? Is it a fraction? Can I write it in the form of P upon Q? Yes, definitely I can write it. P upon Q. But the definition of fraction says that P and Q should be the whole numbers. And if we recall the definition of whole numbers, so it says whole numbers are the positive numbers always. So, is -5 a whole number? No, it is not a whole number. Is 1 a whole number? Yes, it is. But my P is not a whole number. So that means -5 upon 1 is not a whole number. But if I recall the definition of rational numbers, so which says I can write it in the form of P upon Q, which I have done it already, and P and Q should be integers. Is -5 an integer? Yes, it is an integer. Is 1 an integer? Yes, it is an integer. Is Q not equal to 0? Yes, true. So, in other words, I can say that -5 is a rational number, but it is not a fraction. So, let us just recall our learning about rational numbers. So it says all natural numbers, integers and whole numbers are rational numbers since they can be written as a rational number with the denominator as 1. And another learning we have taken from today's lesson, it is all fractions are rational numbers since they can be written in the form of P upon Q. And the last and the most important, which says all fractions are rational numbers, but all rational numbers are not fractions. With that note, I would end my session. Thank you so much.